Welcome back, viewers. In today's video, we embark on a journey to explore the top 7 most dangerous countries in the world as of 2024. The riskiest places on our planet. This list is not meant to stigmatize any nation, but to shed light on the complex geopolitical and socioeconomic challenges that contribute to their current situations. Remember, these rankings are subjective and can change over time. Number 7. Afghanistan. A country that has been molded by a convergence of historical events, foreign interventions, and continuing internal battles. Afghanistan's geopolitical prominence has thrust it into the heart of global power maneuvers, since it sits at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. Afghanistan has been in turmoil for decades, from the Soviet invasion in the 1980s to the subsequent civil war and the more recent US-led operation. Today, Pakistan faces persistent problems, chiefly the threat of extremist groups such as the Taliban and the ever-shifting dynamics of regional geopolitics. Afghanistan's quest for stability is a complex story marked by a delicate interaction of indigenous aspirations and international interests. The Afghan people's perseverance, visible in villages across the country, acts as a beacon of hope in the face of hardship. Despite severe obstacles, initiatives in education, infrastructure development, and social empowerment demonstrate a collaborative determination to construct a better future. Number 6. Yemen, a country smack dab in the middle of a humanitarian disaster. Yemen's story is complex, created by a perfect storm of political insecurity, internal strife, and a horrific civil war. The Yemeni people are caught in the crossfire of competing regional and global interests. Civilians have suffered unspeakable suffering as a result of the ongoing civil war, which has been marked by clashes between Houthi rebels and the internationally recognized government. A catastrophic economic condition, acute food shortages, and a healthcare system stretched to its breaking point worsen the humanitarian crisis. Yemen's environment has been damaged not only by military conflict, but also by silent battles against famine and disease. Yemen is the world's worst humanitarian disaster according to the UN, with millions experiencing extreme food shortages and children bearing the brunt of hunger and avoidable diseases. International efforts to address the problem encounter several obstacles, ranging from logistical difficulties to the complexities of negotiating peace in the midst of deeply entrenched conflicts. Yemen's position necessitates a complete knowledge of the linked web of political, economic, and social elements that have driven the country to its current brink. Number 5. Libya, a nation enmeshed in a complicated web of post-revolutionary problems, factional strife, and the persistent struggle for stability. Libya's transition from the Gaddafi regime's fall to the present is characterized by opposing interests and internal divides. Following Gaddafi's demise, Libya has seen political fragmentation, with rival factions striving for control and influence. Because there is no centralized authority, there is a power vacuum, which allows armed groups to exert their presence, hindering efforts to construct a cohesive and stable administration. The quest for stability is also hampered by economic issues, as Libya deals with the consequences of shifting oil prices, corruption, and resource mismanagement. These issues have contributed to the deterioration of public services, economic challenges, and an overall sense of dissatisfaction among the population. International involvement has added another layer of complexity to Libya's situation, with various external actors supporting different factions, aggravating tensions and impeding internal reconciliation efforts. The effects of this geopolitical chessboard may be seen in the daily lives of regular Libyans who want to live in a peaceful and wealthy country. Number 4, Venezuela, a country confronted with a complicated and multifaceted problem that has been unfolding for several years. Venezuela's spiral into insecurity is characterized by a combination of economic collapse, political turbulence, and social unrest, providing a bleak picture of a country confronted with significant obstacles. Venezuela's crisis is characterized by hyperinflation, a collapsing currency, and a significant reduction in oil production, a sector on which the country is highly reliant. As a result, there is widespread poverty, a scarcity of basic goods, and a healthcare system on the verge of failing. Millions of Venezuelans have been forced to confront hard, everyday realities, with the threat of famine looming large. Political tensions have exacerbated the issue, with a power struggle between President Nicolás Maduro's government and opposition groups, led by people like as Juan Guaidó. This struggle for political dominance has caused social unrest and, at times, erupted into violence, exacerbating the cracks in Venezuelan society. The departure of millions of Venezuelans seeking safety in neighboring countries adds to the crisis, creating a regional problem with far-reaching consequences. The strain on host countries, combined with the difficulties of providing for the displaced population, highlights the humanitarian dimensions of Venezuela's situation. Number 3, Syria, a country engulfed in a long and destructive conflict that has left an unmistakable mark on its people and geography. The Syrian crisis, which has now lasted more than a decade, is a terrible narrative of political instability, outsider interventions, and a humanitarian disaster that is still unfolding. A multi-layered civil war is at the heart of Syria's upheaval, with many factions competing for authority and influence. The 2011 wave of pro-democracy rallies devolved into a horrific conflict, exacerbated by the growth of extremist groups, regional power dynamics, and the involvement of global actors. Millions of Syrians have been uprooted, cities have been turned to rubble, and a staggering number of lives have been lost. The humanitarian impact is tremendous, with millions of people enduring food shortages, a lack of access to healthcare, and the anguish of displacement. The humanitarian crisis has been defined by the use of chemical weapons, the targeting of civilian areas, and the displacement of innocent families, provoking global anger and calls for action. The diverse interests of international parties, regional powers, and the plethora of armed factions on the ground have hindered efforts to find a political solution to the Syrian war. At times, the geopolitical chessboard has obscured the critical need for humanitarian help and a lasting path to peace. Number 2, Iraq, a nation entrenched in a patchwork of ongoing issues emanating from historical conflicts, regional tensions, and internal struggles. Iraq's position at the forefront of geopolitical dynamics has focused global attention on it, and as we deconstruct its nuances, a multifaceted story emerges. The fallout from the 2003 Iraq War continues to throw a pall over the country. While progress has been made toward reconstruction, the residue of battle remains. Political insecurity, characterized by a fragile balance of power among numerous sectarian groupings, continues to be a serious impediment to the formation of a coherent and stable government. Regional tensions, especially delicate connections with neighboring Iran, and the ongoing fight against extremist remnants such as ISIS, exacerbate Iraq's perilous position. The geopolitical chessboard on which Iraq finds itself complicates its desire for sovereignty, security, and economic development even further. Economic problems, such as reliance on oil earnings, corruption, and inadequate infrastructure, impede Iraq's progress. The socioeconomic fabric retains the wounds of decades of turmoil, impacting ordinary Iraqis' lives and adding to a sense of despair and discontent. While Iraq has shown tenacity in the face of adversity, handling the complexity of post-conflict reconstruction remains a difficult task. International involvement, though well-intended in some ways, adds another layer of complexity when competing ambitions and methods collide in a nation struggling to establish its feet. Our exploration of the top 7 most dangerous countries in the world in 2024 reveals the complex issues that each country faces. From Afghanistan to Iraq, these countries face a unique mix of historical legacies, geopolitical challenges, and internal conflicts. Human stories of resilience, aspiration, and the pressing need for understanding lay behind the statistics. This series attempts to raise awareness and empathy by shedding attention on the many problems that lead to their precarious positions. May our combined efforts as we negotiate these global challenges be directed toward diplomatic solutions, compassionate understanding, and the promotion of stability for a more peaceful future. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.